Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. That one, that ultimate truth, the plenum, manifested first as a fundamental energy particle, the chit, the life force. These spinning, repelling, clashing, combining, transformed as elements of various kinds, and they coming together become millions of stars and galaxies, and further as sensing living being, and as human with faculty for fair judgment. Knowing this history of transformation of the divine, let us live happily by being of service to one and all. Salutation to the Guru. Oh, my master, you taught the art of streamlining and quietening my mind. In that state, when there are no mental waves, ecstasy is bursting forth in me. As the ultimate goal of my journey through various births, you gave me a life of constant self-awareness and peace. This is the happy news I want to share with you. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Yes, Padma.
Good evening, everyone. I just welcome you all for this Sunday's webinar. Before we begin it, there are some few instructions. Please keep your mics muted and your videos turned off. In case you have questions, you can type them in the chat box. I'll bring it up to in the Q&A session. And at the end of the webinar, there will be an exclusive session where you can directly ask your questions to Professor Sir. Now, without further delay, let me take a few minutes to introduce Professor Ravindran Sir. He is a professor in Sky WCSE, a president and managing trustee of Vishala Karnataka Sky Trust, and also the founder of Yantra Foundation, Bangalore. He has an MD in acupressure and is a professor teaching simplified Kundalini Yoga at the World Community Service Center. He was trained under the able guidance of the world-renowned Dr. Devendra Vora, a master in acupressure and natural therapy. Professor Ravindra Sir was also initiated to Sky Yoga by Sri Vedatri Maharishi and is sought often as a speaker on both subjects of Sky Yoga and acupressure. He conducts workshops in World Bank and government agencies in United States of America. He also conducts workshop for Indian government Ayush in Karnataka. Sir, today I welcome you to help us with the topic on reprogramming our subconscious mind. Thank you, sir.
Hold on 1 minute, Padma, 1 second.
Yes.
Be blessed by the divine. Let the whole world enjoy health, happiness, prosperity, peace, and wisdom. My pranam to my spiritual master, Sri Vedatri Maharishi, and my acupressure guru, Dr. Sri Devendra Vora. My humble salutation who are all participating in today's webinar. My pranam to you. Today evening program is a wonderful subject. Reprogram your subconscious mind. In the process of evolution, last transformation is human. To be born as a human being itself is one of the greatest divine gift. Life is a gift. In that life, the purpose of our life is survival, enjoyment, liberation. Because birth and death is not in our hand. When birth happens, only survival, everybody wants to survive. So nobody wants to suffer. But in spite of development of the scientific knowledge, equipments, doctors, psychiatric, all over the world, human suffering is the most unbearable suffering we see in this planet. In spite of development of science to the greatest extent, why this is happening? So once you think, and the answer is also there, right there. Most of the sufferings are psychosomatic disease. 90% of the disease start with the mind and end with the physical body. So here today in webinar, let us understand what is this so-called mind? How does it operate? What kind of imprints we inherit? What kind of imprints we manifest? Why we are not able to come out of this prison? So the agenda for today will be, what is this Bina mind? How does the mind function? What are the different states of mind? And what are the frequencies of the mind? How can you measure it? And way to reprogram your subconscious mind. All these answers are within every individual. But our mind works only for survival. When we program our mind only for our survival and enjoyment, the crux of the problem remains there. Nobody understands how to solve this problem. So in this context, this webinar will open a paradigm of shift. It is not an heap of information. It has to be understood properly. Knowing, being and becoming. Knowing, being and becoming. That is everybody's being. In that context only, this can be discussed. Now, first question, let us ask, what is this Bina mind? What is mind? Can you go to the, okay. Once we used to say face is the index of mind. Man in divine is mind. The other one is man in devil is also mind. Expand the spelling, mind, man in iron in divine. The word divine comes with diving in. Once you start diving within you, the paradigm shift will happen. Only we dive outside using our mind, questioning, asking something, how can I get this? It is an objective science. All the material what you see in the world, it's an object. But mind is not an object. Through mind, an object can be created. Mind itself is a subject. So what is this Bina mind? Why there is a so much of disturbance? And where is this mind present? We all, even though it's a very important subject, hardly we try to understand this, how this mind operates, why there is a disturbance of mind. There is worries, agonies, there is happiness, joy, all this happens. Why this different character happens? Why a human being is not stable? That means life is for celebration. Are we celebrating or are we suffering? In Tamil, we used to call there are 4 aspects. Happiness, worries, that is inbam, tunbam. Third one is peace and ecstasy. Peace and ecstasy are the words which are written only in the dictionaries. 90% of human being does not experience it. Joy, happiness, peace and ecstasy is the inherent quality which everybody possesses. Since there is a polluted mind, polluted mind means mind of God is there. Mind of God is nothing but pure soul, pure individuality. The mind of God only becomes the mind of man. When the mind of man is nothing but addition of God plus 6 senses. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moga, Mada, Macharya. That means greed, anger, miserliness, immoral sexual passion, vanity and vengeance. When the pure God, man is also the manifestation of the same godly divine. When the 6 imprints, when we inherit it, let us only become the man. So man minus these 6 imprints, man minus these 6 imprints of greed, anger, miserliness, immoral sexual passion, vanity and vengeance. How does it get acquired to us? How does it manifest? How we are not able to reprogram this? When you have a computer, whatever program we do in a computer, we can create a new file, we can delete that file, we can make a new file, or we can memorize and keep it in memory, this one in computer. When all this can be done with our human intelligence, why not we can delete or put our subconscious mind, which is not required under it. It is possible. That's what the all spiritual masters, right from the ages, take from Buddhas. Buddha means awakened one. Jesus Christ means a realized person. Christ itself is realization. A Buddha, a Christ, a Muhammad Nabi, Adi Shankara, a Vivekananda, a Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Like that, you can see hundreds of people who have experienced this state of blissfulness by reprogramming the subconscious mind. They were also born like us as a human being. They also suffered in their life for all kind of problems. So they also had the family. Then why only a few people were able to come out of this is they ask this question, who am I? What is this mind? What is the root cause of all this imprints when we carry this? Vivekananda asked a beautiful question. When somebody asked this question to him, that even though we are born to enjoy and celebrate life, why human being is suffering? What is that which carries these imprints not only to me, to next my progeny? Then he answers, there are things, what we call it as vasanas. Whatever thought emerges from the mind, whatever thoughts emerge from the mind, for survival, for enjoyment, for celebration, when it exceeds the limit itself, that itself forms a imprint. For that we need to know what is this Bina mind. Until and unless we are living with your mind without understanding what this mind is, we are living with a life without understanding what life is. Human being is adorned with a sixth sense. Why only human being is being called having a sixth sense? That means if every human has got the faculty to realize themselves, attain mukti. Attain mukti means realization of our own consciousness, nothing else. Not after death. Before leaving the body from this body. That means what the body we have is a physical body. The second body is astral body. Astral body is energy body. The third body is called causal body. Causal body is the Karana Sarira, conscious body. All the five senses operate with this conscious only. The touch, the taste, the smell, the hearing, and seeing. All these are the faculty of the five senses. So the sixth sense is realizing from where did I come? What is my destiny? What is the journey of consciousness? When I started my journey? When my journey is going to end? When is the transformation is going to happen? Who am I? What is the purpose of life? Is life is just living a vegetable life? Is life is more than that? What is this life? These questions can only arrive as a thought in the mind. So that an important thought, important faculty of this existence is not understood, then what will happen? It so happened when I was studying in the college, I asked this question to an American professor who came to my school in St. Joseph's. When he was talking about the mind, I asked, sir, could you please define the mind? Immediately he said, I don't mind. So we are speaking about mind. There is a lot of information and garbage is there in Google also, but hardly, very rarely, people have understood mind. So Swamiji here, my Guruji says very simple terminology. Greatest pregnant statement is, Manam illada manidanum illai, manadai arinda manidanum illai. That means there is no man without mind, but very few people have understood what is this mind. Manadai adakka ninaithal alayum, manadai ariya ninaithal adangum. If you are to try to control the mind, it wanders. If you try to know the mind only, it subsides. So the fundamental, it is not a philosophy, it is the being. when you are aware of things, or when your mind is calm, you'll be at joy, you'll be at peace. You can even go to a state of ecstasy. But when your disturbed mind is there, even if you are well healthy, wandering mind cannot be peace. So that's why mind is nothing but psychic extension of life energy. There is life energy in the body, and that life energy is rotating on its own axis, and the whole body is having blood circulation, which can be detected, and we have air circulation, inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide, and we have a temperature of 98 point so on so, that everybody knows, which can be measured. There are two more energies. One is the life energy circulation, which is the fundamental, which cannot be documented, and the other one is biomagnetic circulation. What is this biomagnetic circulation? The biomagnetic circulation is nothing but body current. We have a cell phone, we have a battery in it. As long as the battery is charged, the cell phone operates. As the cell phone ceased to exist because of this, there is no electricity, we can charge this electricity there with the electric current, and it is charged to the battery. So we store it. Then again the cell phone starts working. But what is that cell phone here? How our cells get charged? We have billions and billions of cells. Human body has got around 120 trillion cells. Who is charging the cells? So that's what we eat the food. The more physical food get converted into subtle energy. The water what we drink get converted into energy. The air which you breathe get converted into energy. The cosmic energy we inherited get converted into energy. So everything is energy only. So the universe does not speak English. It speaks frequency only. Because of the modern science, we are able to know. And this Nikola Tesla gives a beautiful wording. If you want to find out the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So our mind is nothing but extension of the same energy. You can go to the next slide, Padma. So, yes, no, yeah, frequency of the mind. So this is the quote I was talking. If you want to find out the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. Energy is an invisible infinite. It is not even a dust or particle. It's a vibration, or you can call it as a frequency, or you can call it as a vibration. But it is so subtle. The so subtle energy of the human mind can be measured through EEG machine. EEG means electroencephalogram. This is what it is. So what happens? Frequency of the mind. You can see 8 to 13 cycle, what we call as alpha wave. And the other one is 14 to 40 cycles. All our mind operates with, most of the time, we operate our mind in the higher frequency, what we call it as beta wave. This beta wave, when you have emotion, when you have too much anger, when you have too much of enmity towards somebody, or you hate yourself, or you get too much of anger, all this operates with the higher frequency, what we call it as beta wave. And this, when you are calm, or when you are sleeping, when you are in a deeper sleep, or when you have less emotions, this frequency comes down. Or when you do meditation, when you are in a deeper meditation, or when you are doing pranayama, the mental frequency comes down between 8 to 13 cycle. That only we call it as alpha wave. That is the frequency of the mind. Then 4 to 7 cycles, these can be measured. We want scientific evidence. That's why I'm telling. 4 to 7 cycles per second is called theta wave. You can see the frequency comes down. Anybody who are a deep meditator can fix the EEG machine, and you can go to a state of delta wave also if you are a deep meditator. 1 to 3 cycles per second, what we call is delta wave. This is, you can see this picture, data recorded during an electroencephalogram EEG mission through a meditator. Even recently this was done for our Sadhguru also. When our Maharishi was there in USA, he also underwent the same test where it become 1 to 3 or even still what we call it as a gamma rays. Gamma means absolutely there will be no frequency at all. Delta will be at least 1 to 3. When you go to gamma, there will be life energy going on in the body. There won't be any frequency at all. Then they said, Swamiji is dead. They couldn't see the vibration. They couldn't. Immediately Swamiji was in high state of awareness. He said, no, I am not dead. My frequency is very gone low. When he started speaking itself, the frequency went high. So that is called a state of no mind. A state of no mind. So this is all possible when you have a practice for yourself through meditation or through yoga, through pranayama. All these are the vibration. Now let us see why this, how the imprints happens. We think the mind is in the brain. My dear friends, please try to understand mind is not there in the brain. Brain is an object which creates this electricity. It's a very complex one, but mind is there in every cell. We all manifested with a single cell, and the single cell only manifests the whole body. We started our journey through one single cell called zygote. That zygote is nothing but a single cell. One drop of sexual vital fluid of your father and mother joined together is formed as a single cell. That single cell multiples. We are around trillions of cells, and each cell is doing different work. Your brain cell does a different work. A cell in the eye take the light and reflect the light. The cells in the air is doing different work. But all the cells are carrying the blueprint of the initial imprints which inherited. So how does the mind works is the question. So there are 3 types of mind. So here I have shown you how does the mind function. Means in our old text they call it as buddhi. First is buddhi, means intellect. Intellect is to discriminate. Second one is called agam. According to the ancient text, agam is ego. Third one is manas. Manas means we have different perception. We eat different food. We are under different environment. We are under different state of mind. With different people. All the interaction happens. All comes as a thought. And the last one what is written here is chitta. Chitta means complete pure consciousness. Absolute consciousness which is not disturbed by any of these one. Out of these 4, let us take the buddhi. Buddhi means intellect. Modern science thinks that intellect, buddhi is consciousness. No, that is a part of the consciousness. It is not a complete thing. Once you understand, suppose you get up early morning. When you get up early morning, you need to go to toilet to do all the excretion. You need to take a brush and brush your teeth, wash your face, or take bath, These are all the natural, intelligent, with everybody have inherited, not only sixth sense human being, animals, birds are also got the mind, but their mind is limited only for eating, shitting, reproduction. But whereas the human mind has got the faculty to know, the other end of the side of the mind is called God. Or God means generates everything, operates everything, deletes everything. Generates everything is Brahma, operates everything is Vishnu, delete everything is Shiva. So it is not a person, it is the being of the state of mind. So in this state only, Buddhi means intellect. Then the second is called Agam. Agam is individuality. Say for instance, I am a doctor in acupressure. When a patient comes to me, when I am treating or when I am speaking with the patient, I am a doctor. When I am speaking to you as a professor of sky, I am just a professor. When I get into my car, I am a driver. When I step into my house, I am an husband for my wife, father for my children's, grandchildren's, grandfather for grandchildren's. So we play a different role. That playing the different role is called identity. You can use your agam in that place. I can be a doctor with my patient. When I come home, I have to remove that shoes of that identity and being a normal husband to my wife. We forget that ego, edging God out. Agam means edging God out. The good quality of you vanishes and the devil comes in. That is what happens. I and mine. I is the powerhouse, mine is the possession. When I and mine get married, all the six imprints happens. Greed, anger, miserliness, immoral, sexual passion, vanity, and vengeance. These get imprinted in your, through the conscious mind, you do all these things. All this imprint, what we call as vasanas, that get imprinted in the subconscious mind. There are three minds: conscious mind, subconscious mind, and superconscious mind. But here, when I am explaining these four aspects of the ancient science, Buddhi, Agam, Manas, and Chitta, the Chit is the undisturbed, unpolluted, pure consciousness or pure soul, what we call from our ancient science. So once this is understood, we can understand mind is nothing but psychic extension of the life energy. Our mind is nothing but extension of all the thoughts, bundles of thoughts we can call. Mind is nothing but conversion and consumption of subtle energy. Consumption and conversion. What is that conversion and consumption? For a normal human being, if there is 100% energy is required, means 75% of the energy is required for your metabolism, physical metabolism, functioning of the heart, functioning of all the faculties, organs in the body, excretory system has to work, digestion system has to work, liver has to work. There are different organs which function differently, which does this work so accurately. Because of non-awareness, we commit lot of problem, but still that energy takes care of it. As long as the energy depletes, it disturbs the mind. But today what is happening, 75% of the energy is wasted only through the mind, only through thinking, only through stress, only through fear of death. During the coronavirus pandemic, many has got the fear. What is that fear? Fear of death. Why fear of death comes? Because we don't know the truth of life. Anybody understand the truth of life? Experience of death will not happen, you die physically. So this is what happens. So the fear of death happens because of the ignorance of life itself. As long as we live, we understand and transform our life into a better human being, then the fear of death will not come. So the corona is comes because of the fear of death. The fear is the most dangerous thing which human being carry. So my dear friends, you can see a child, as a child is born, the child first cries, then it laughs, smiles. Normally, a growing child up to the age of 3, their mental frequency is absolutely in a state of ecstasy. Their frequencies are so low. When the child is in the mother's womb, it is in the ecstasy frequency, that is 1 to 3 frequency only. That's why all children have been called as genius. Any child born is a genius till it become an idiot when it go to the school, the kind of education what we have in school. So it is career oriented, not life oriented. So why the genius child becomes an idiot? It is because of the environment. It is of the fear of death. It is of the ignorance of life. It is the ignorance of nature. It is the ignorance of the universe by itself. All these are the paradigm shift which has to happen through our education. And mother is a wonderful educator. So as long when you carry the child, when you put these kind of imprints, vasanas to the child, a child can be a Vivekananda, a child can be a Jesus, a child can be a Buddha, a child can be a Vedadri. Why this is not happening? This is not happening because of the pollution of vasanas which we inherited, which we call it as baggage. What is that baggage? Sanjita karma. We are born with a baggage of karma from our parents. And when we give birth to a child, when somebody gets married, the immediate question asked by the parents and the society is, Yen Vishesha. Yen Vishesha means, are you giving birth to a child? You don't get married only to give birth to a child. You get married to enjoy life, to celebrate life. And there is a way of giving birth to a beautiful, good-looking, healthy child. Are we planning for it? Does our education teach us this? Absolutely not. Our education teaches only how to become a doctor, how to become an educator, how to become a technologist, what not. But how to become a good human being, how to be a good husband. So if you want to become a good husband, if you want to become a good human being, if you want to become a good father, the reprogramming of the subconscious mind only is possible. So that reprogram only an individual can do. So this only until and unless you know how does the mind functions, how does the imprints happens, how does the imprint happen? Suppose look at, I am just asking a simple question. I am looking at the camera, my image is, all the participants who are about 40 people are there, today's webinar, all the 40 people are able to see my total face on, it's reflecting on the computer or on cell phone. When I ask this question, suppose, Badma, where I am sitting, you will answer that you are sitting in your Yantra Foundation in front of a computer. That is the normal answer. That is the scientific answer everybody will willing to give. But that is not the truth. What is the truth? The biomagnetic energy which emits from your eye reflects on the computer or reflects on cell phone. It clashes and reflects. Because of the clash and reflection, my image is formed in your retina, in your eyes. An inverted image is formed there. So after that image is formed, that image goes to your brain, goes to your cell, gets imprinted in you. Just imagine this. I am speaking a very ultimate truth, which I experienced through my master. So 5 things are happening: clash, reflection, refraction, penetration, and interaction through this biomagnetic energy. As long as you are living only, you can see my image. As long as I am living only, I can see my image or your image. Only through the eyes. Taste where we experience in the tongue. Hearing where we experience through the ears. Smell where we experience through the smelling instrument nose. Touching all over the body. So all things are happening here. We are looking for solution outside. So this is nothing but conversion of biomagnetism. And what kind of thought comes is also conversion and imprints happening in the subconscious mind. Last year, my mother-in-law abused. That has got a deeper imprint because it happened in the higher frequency. Your mother-in-law might have done so many good things which got imprinted in the low frequency. That doesn't come into your mind at all. Anybody does anything wrong only, first it comes to your mind. Then you decide, you judge that person, he is not a good person. When something done, a good thing, that time when you think, you have that joy. But most of us human beings experience these kind of negative notations and it gets imprinted as vasanas. These imprints only, we call it as thought process. So everything is created twice in the world, one in the psychological mind, other in the physical world. So this becomes your habits. Then when the subconscious becomes your habit, whenever that frequency happens, that only reflects. So that's why conscious, you can see the active analytical portion of our mind, our activity is called awareness. The subconscious mind is the home of instinct of storehouse of experience. Whether you have a good experience, whether you have a bad experience, all these things are stored in your subconscious mind. Then the superconscious mind, what we are talking is our chitta. I told you, buddhi. Buddhi is intellect. Agam is ego. Third one is mind. That mind should be unpolluted mind, like a child's mind or a God's mind. That mind gets impurities through our thoughts, through our actions, through our beings. All these things happen and it becomes your subconscious mind, becomes your programmer, like a computer. When a computer, when the same programs file, if you want to change the file, see the four spelling of file and life. L-I-F-E, life. If you change it, file, F-I-L-E, life. File. It can be reprogrammed only when you decided to do. When you take up a step, that time you can go to the state of superconscious, which is our awareness. Awareness is with everybody, but we are only using this awareness only for our survival purpose. That is what we think as a intellect or buddhi. When the buddhi becomes a Buddha, buddhi becomes Buddha means being in awareness in each moment. Or if the buddhi becomes Buddhu, Buddhu means insane. And insane is also just like a person who enjoys the ecstasy. You can go and see in Nimans, the people who are suffering with insanity, they don't know anything because there is no mind. Insane mind means absolutely, these imprints are not there, so they don't have the mind of their own. So, Buddha has to become, Buddhi has to become a Buddha. That is the purpose. Buddha means awakened one. That awakened one is possible if you are able to reprogram your mind. Your mind may be having all different vasanas, what you inherited through your parents, what we call it as DNA and RNA. Now, even in modern science, they are able to establish that 98% of our genes can be modified. This is the truth. I don't know how many people know about it. There is a scientist called Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is from US, who is a cell biologist. He was able to establish in a lab that 98% of your genes can be modified. In what way? That is only one is through environment, other through food, your lifestyle. Third one is reprogramming your subconscious mind. So reprogramming the subconscious mind is the ultimate goal of every human being. That super consciousness, you can go to the next program, next slide. Way to reprogram your subconscious mind. See, your mind is nothing but a what you call broadcasting station. It's a broadcasting station. I am having a thought here. The thought is picked up in a frequency, and it is vibrating for all the people who are just listening to this one. So you are having a thought, you are holding it. When you have question and answer, you can question the same. But this has been programmed through a proper, what you call it as wave frequencies. In that frequency only, I am able to broadcast, you are able to see me, you are able to hear me. In the same way, whatever you talk, also I can hear from there. You may be sitting in any corner of the world. But we are using the frequency. One thing I want you to understand is, can we create this frequency? That is the greater question science does not answer. We can utilize the frequency. We can inhale our air, oxygen, exhale our carbon dioxide. But can we create oxygen, create carbon dioxide? No. All the carbon dioxide is released by the plant. Oxygen is given up by us through the breath. In the same way, frequency we are using, Webinar you are using under a certain frequency, but we cannot create the frequency. That frequency only I am talking as pure consciousness or soul. So my dear friend, this subconscious mind reprogram can be done only through yogasana, through breathing technique, on meditation and introspection. So during meditation, let us know what is this meditation. Meditation is nothing but art of silencing the mind. Meditation, again I'll repeat, meditation is not concentration. Concentration is putting a thought on an object. But meditation is nothing but bringing down the frequency. Bringing down the frequency. Now, if you try to control the mind, what happens? I'll tell you a small story so that you can remember. A man was having all the things what he want to occur in his life. Instead of one house, he had 10 or 15 houses. He had so much of ability to acquire so much of wealth. He got married 4 times. He had 4 wives, 16 children. With all these things, possession of wealth, possession of everything, this man was not happy. So he went to a saint and asked, in my life at the age of 60, I have everything at my command, but still I am not happy. I got so much of wealth, everything. What should I do? So he was told by the saint, you have 4 wives and 16 children, distribute all the wealth to them, then you come. Whatever you have, you hold it. 75% of his wealth to his 4 wives, children's house, everything he gave to them. Then he came with a lot of money, diamonds, gold, still a bag carrying of all these things. He thought he need to hold all these things for himself. Then he said, there is a saint in the forest. You go to this particular place on a lonely, without any pancha, that means cloth, only underwear will be wearing. That man will be sitting in meditation. Go and surrender to him. You will be happy. So this man goes to this forest in search of this old saint. Finally he found man sitting in a meditation. Then he went, waited for an hour for him to awake. Then he told, this is the story. I had everything in my life. I was not happy at all. I was not at peace. I was not at ecstasy. So I want only that. Can you bless me or give me something which I did not experience in my life itself? What we experience as the happiness or joy is only temporary. What we experience as agony, disease, pain, this polluted mind is the most thing we experience, most of us. So this man, this old man telling that, he said, open the bag. When he opened the bags, there was rubies, there was diamond, there was gold. This wealth itself will cost about a few crores rupees. This old man took this cloth, bundled everything, and put on his back, started running. This man was around 80, 85, the old saint. This man was as young as 60 years only. This man thought, my God, I have come to an old saint who is want to take my wealth, and he started running. This man started running behind him to catch. The old man was so young, he was running so faster, he was not able to catch him. He was going round the forest only. Finally, the old man came to the same place where he was sitting. He sat there. But he could not go and catch him. Slowly by walking, he came to the old man. Like that, he came. When he told, sit down, he gave the treasures back to his hand, and he was holding back to his chest, and he was happy. Then he asked, are you happy? He said, yes. Then he said, you fool, you idiot, all this belongs to you before you came. When you came to me, where also it belongs to you. You are not happy. All this, your life, you had this possession and position. You are not happy. When I took and ran, you ran behind me to catch me, which you are not able to give. When I gave this wealth, you are happy. How long this happiness will stay? How long this happiness will stay? When he asked this question, this man was in tears. So everything is happiness is not outside. Mind is not outside. Thoughts come and go. So everything gets imprinted in our subconscious mind. We do not know the program of reprogramming the subconscious mind. So happiness is not something which is available outside. Agony is not something which comes from outside. It is all the karmic imprint which inherited comes to us in the form of imprints. As long as you know how to reprogram the subconscious mind, you cannot forget, but you can forgive. So love and compassion and forgiveness and reprogramming is the only sources through meditation can happen. So my dear friends, through this small story, you are able to get an imprint. Yes, it is that I have to change. I have to change my imprint. So this conscious mind constantly wanders and do everything, but the imprints happens in the subconscious mind. The superconscious mind is a pure mirror. Pure mirror means when you go and look at a mirror, your face reflects. When you are anger, the anger reflects in the mirror. When you are in agony or pain, it reflects in the mirror. When you are joy, it reflects joy only. When you are in ecstasy, it reflects ecstasy. When you are smiling, it smiles. When you move away, the mirror doesn't say, Ravindra, you are observing, you move. It don't keep that. It just reflects. So every soul is just reflecting what you are. That is your real being. Your being is joyful. Your being is celebration. Your being is ecstasy. But in pursuit of this truth, journey of consciousness, we get and become a victim of all these 6 imprints. So my dear friends, until and unless everybody know how to reprogram your mind, go into state of meditation, go into pranayama, do some yoga mudra or yogasana or yoga nidra and do some introspection. What is that which is troubling me? Why the mind is so much disturbed today? How can I reprogram the mind? Why I am having so much of determination and anger towards my wife? Why I am having so much of anger on my mother or on my mother-in-law? All these things manifest because of your own karmic imprints only. It doesn't come from anywhere. What all happens inside you, you are only responsible. What all happening outside, you are not responsible, you will not have a control. So at least can I take the control of myself? Can I behave myself? Can I change myself? So the most difficult thing in the whole world is to change others. The most easiest thing is to change myself. So changing myself, being yourself is called individuality. But we don't want to maintain our individuality. We want to become a personality. Personality is a persona given, a mask given by the society. We try to pretend things. Most of the things we try to pretend. When you get anger, nobody pretend. When you get jealous, nobody pretend. When you get too much of emotion, we try to hold it inside or show it outside, reflect. But when we get love or we want to show love, most of the loves are potential. That means, I love you. We say, it's only mere word. The mere word is not love. The love has to come from the heart. It has to manifest from there and vibration, broadcast happen through the mind. But does it happen? No. Word, action, and results. There are three things are there. All the three things has to coincide. For that, the manifestation happens in the heart. That's why we call it as a Buddha heart and an empty heart. So in this manner, when we want to change ourselves, we need to change our subconscious mind. We need to reprogram our subconscious mind. That is possible through blessing, through affirmation, through meditation, through yoga, sana. For that, we need to know how these imprints happen. These imprints happen without your knowledge, without your conscious, without your awareness. Once you are able to understand, Swamiji has to say in a beautiful poem in Tamil, என் வயது 3 முதல் யான் பார்த்த காட்சியும் யான் கேட்ட சுவையும் யான் சுவைத்த சுவையும் என்ன விதமாய் பதிந்ததோ என்னை எண்ணும் போது. That means from the age of a small child, what all I see, what all I hear, what all I experience through my taste organ, through my smelling organ, through my touching organ, how does it got imprinted in my body? How does it got imprinted in my mind? How does it got imprinted in the sexual energy? How does it carry to the next progeny? These questions were asked, and he gives a beautiful scientific explanation to all these things. So the same thing, you can introspect yourself and ask this question, you'll be able to get this answer. But in 1 hour webinar, I have a limitation to talk about all these things. So transform, last time when I spoke, I told you, transform your poison into honey. To be love, you want love means you have to love yourself. In the same manner, if you want to transform your poison into honey, first you need to identify what kind of poisons you carry, what kind of imprints you carry, what kind of imprints we inherited from our parents, what are the good imprints we have, what are the bad imprints which is not required to the present time. According to the time and space, we can change these imprints also. So these can all happen only through proper meditation and introspection. That meditation and introspection only we need to do. Once you start doing it, you can reprogram your subconscious mind. Your superconscious mind is nothing but a clean mirror. Clean mirror means your mirror only reflects. Your soul also reflects. Everybody are potentially divine. Whoever these 40 people who are listening are not just ordinary, they are all beautiful, wonderful, pure souls only. We are all suffering because of our ignorance of self, ignorance of knowing about this life, energy, or the mind, which is the other end of the cord. Once you are able to not know, realize yourself, it is not just an information, it is a kind of experience, it is the kind of being. Once you are able to do this, definitely, my dear friends, every one of you are potentially divine to complete the journey of consciousness. Even though during suffering also, we can have the kind of a mind or thought which says, yes, it is your past karma, because of that you are come. But present, this moment, I want to live, I want to erase the past, I want to live in this moment. I want to transform my poison into honey. I want to be in the state of ecstasy. I want to be at peace. I want to be a wonderful human being. For that, the only ingredient available in the whole existence is unconditional love. That love only expands. With that love, you can expand your mind, you can expand your consciousness to the level of the universe. The whole universe is so beautiful, so good looking. Only it gives, it does not ask anything. Only because of the condition of the mind, we ask for everything from outside without even realizing how potentially divine you are. So, in this context, is exactly I started this class 3 minutes past 4. So I want to hand 3 minutes past 5 only. I am very particular about the time and space. Both are relevant. And when you go into meditative state, deeper meditative in ecstasy state, time and space also is not relevant. You go behind space and beyond time. In this context, with this way to reprogram your subconscious mind, through meditation, through yogasana, through introspection, through practice of your own self, you will be able to reprogram your subconscious mind and live as joyfully as we wish to do. With this, I want to conclude the talk, giving the blessings to every one of you who are participating today's class. And I am thankful for all the participants as well as Badma and Arun who made all this possible. With the bliss of Almighty and Guru, let all of you enjoy good health, long life, enough prosperity, wisdom and peace. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Can I play the 2-minute video, sir, where Joe Dispenza talks about
Yes.
transform this life?
Yes.
So please let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yeah. Picture is not seen.
I'm just sharing it, sir. 1 second. Sir, is it visible now?
Yeah.
It's a 2-minute video. He just talks about his.
In order for some of us to wake up, we need a wake-up call. And in 1986, I got the call. I was in a triathlon in Palm Springs, California, and I was in the biking portion of the race. And I was coming up to this intersection. So as I made the turn, a four-wheel drive Bronco going about 55 miles an hour hit me from behind and catapulted me out of my bicycle. The compressive force compressed 6 vertebrae in my spine. The prognosis was I'd probably never walk again, and that I needed a radical surgery called the Harrington rod surgery. If this had been anybody else, I probably would have recommended that they had the surgery, but this was me. I decided to check out of the hospital, and I just had this one thought, and the thought was the power that made the body heals the body. So I would start off in my mind reconstructing my spine vertebrae per vertebrae, and then I'd start thinking about living in a wheelchair. So for 6 weeks, I went through this incredible dark night of the soul because I couldn't really get my mind to do what I wanted it to do. And it would take me about 3 hours closing my eyes and reconstructing every single vertebrae and starting over again every time I lost my attention. At the end of 6 weeks, I went through the whole entire process without losing my attention. And it was like I hit a tennis ball in the sweet spot. Something clicked in that moment. I clicked. I started noticing significant changes in my body. My motor function started coming back, and my body began to change dramatically. And I was back on my feet in 10 weeks and back training again at 12 weeks. And I just made a deal with myself, and the deal was that if I was ever able to walk again, I'd spend the rest of my life studying the mind-body connection and mind over matter, and pretty much that's what I've been doing since 1986.
Wonderful, wonderful, Padma. This is the right video to make people to understand how, and he became a very prominent speaker all over the world. He just do and train people through meditation and changing your thought environment, how you even genetically can be changed. Bruce Lipton himself and Dr. Joe, this man, and one Joe Biden, I think. What is his name?
Joe Dispenza, sir.
His name is Dispenza, Joe Dispenza. There is another scientist who talks about mind and consciousness. All of them have begun a university called, I don't know, I forgot the name of the university.
Quantum University, sir.
Quantum University. So this is what I speak. In few years, from 2020 to 2045, the future healing will be only quantum energy healing, which I am exploring. A lot of experiences I am undergoing. So a day will come that people can sit in one place, heal themselves. So that we are using the quantum energy is equal to mc square, without even understanding the same quantum energy can heal ourselves. So a day may come that we will be able to do this, where I am experiencing these things. As you know that in 28th April, I met with an accident, and I recovered in 15 days without taking a single painkiller or anything. So this is the original, this one. So my dear friends, please try to understand the power of your subconscious mind. Once you are able to reprogram it, you can change the whole universe by yourself. Universe means this body, mind and consciousness. Okay, thank you. Now we can invite for questions. Audience for questions. Padma.
Yes, sir. I'll just take a minute to thank you, sir. Thank you for enlightening us that every thought has a frequency and that we can alter our reality by tuning into specific frequencies.
Yeah.
Some of us here as the participants, we have health conditions. Some of us want to create a new job, new career, or a new relationship. And some of us are craving for a mystical experience, or maybe some of us just want to understand life from a different perspective. And today, sir, you've taught us the formula on how to create reality itself. The uniqueness of your webinar, sir, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank us. You make it so practical. It gives us the ability to control our inner environment, especially with scientific-based understanding, rather than the traditional, struggling way of using willpower. So thank you very much, sir. I now open the forum for Q&A sessions. I request participants to ask specific examples or situations in their life on how they can apply the MRP, which is mind reprogramming. Participants, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Sir, I want to know how to change money mindset. I actually am so comfortable and satisfied with everything around with very little, needs and wants. So I never come to the point that I should be earning some money because I also, logically understand that money means power to change a lot of situations. I can help many more people if I am a little, more capable and, I can also influence people in the right direction if I have that. So mind says one thing logically, but emotionally I'm not able to connect with it because at a personal level, I'm always satisfied and happy with what I have.
Okay.
So I've not been able to come to terms with that. I mean, I've not found a bridge actually.
Okay. You said the answer by yourself itself.
I do my meditation and I really, really believe very strongly in meditation.
Okay.
So thank you for, I don't know, thank you for everything that you said.
So Neeta, it's a very good question. You only answered it. There is a bridge. Mostly we bridge the house on the bridge. When you build a bridge in between the bridge, we cannot cross the ocean. So both are required. Money is required and life mind is also required, other things. So you did not tell that money is not required. Money, in Tamil, there is a beautiful saying, "Porulillarki ulagamalai, arulillarka ulagamalai." Both money and blessings both are required. So what you need to do, you put a thought, whatever money comes, you use it to redistribute to the society only if it is in excess. Do some philanthropical work, donate to the good cause. Well, donating also you have to be very careful. When you donate something which somebody misuse also, then you are causing more problem to the society also. So find out where you are able to distribute this wealth in a right manner and get detached. Detached means how this detachment should happen. When you go to sleep, you need a pillow. After getting down from the bed, are you carrying the pillow? No, you drop the pillow. That is called detachments. So you need to get detachment towards material, towards person, towards your children's. That is called detachment towards attachment. That can be developed only through proper meditation and understanding. Thank you, Nita, asking for a wonderful question.
Thank you, sir. So actually, I am doing philanthropic work
Yeah.
and exactly the process that you said. But still, I don't have the desire to earn money, and that is pretty surprising because I'm in the financial field in my
Okay.
career.
Okay. You put a thought, I want more bliss, and the same money, whichever comes in that, it has to be earned in a dharmic way. That is the only thing. When you started earning any money, not only you, anybody, through dharma, through proper action, definitely you will not get greed of money. You will be able to see that if you distribute the money in a proper manner, it will happen to you, Nita. Detachment towards attachment. That's all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Gayatri Subaya, can she come on this one video? Is he on the phone? Padma?
I've asked her to unmute, sir.
Yeah.
Gayatri ma'am, you're unmuted. You can speak now.
Hello.
Hello, Gayatri.
Hello, Uncle. Good evening.
Wonderful. How is that? How is that you are today?
It was very good, Uncle. Thank you. As usual, re-energized myself. Thank you so much, Uncle. Thank you so much.
Wonderful to see you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, same here, Uncle. Same here.
So you were from the...
Yeah, even Ganit also was listening.
Oh.
So he's like, how important, the basic things. What is that? The man in the divine. So today they learned that very good word, and from that time he's been telling Vikrant, what is mind? First understand mind. So it was very good, Uncle. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Padma.
Okay, very happy to see you. Gayatri.
Same. Thank you, Uncle.
Okay, thank you. For sure. Okay. Next, anybody else?
Before someone unmutes, sir, there is one question in the chat box. Pragya ma'am wants to know, when I do pranayama, all kind of thoughts come in. How do I get rid of those?
Okay. See, when you get this, when do pranayama also, if you start focusing the mind on the breath, thought will not come. You have to focus the mind only on the breath, inhalation and exhalation. When you do this kind of pranayama, exhalation, or suppose in our system we have a Nityananda Dhyan. When we do Nityananda Dhyan, what we do, bringing the prana from the Mooladhara to the Sahasrara Chakra and spreading throughout the body. So we focus the mind only on the prana. So anybody doing pranayama, the mind should be focused on the prana or on the breath. Once you are able to do this, slowly, the thought will go off. Once it happens, then you can do the meditation also, or chanting some mantra, chanting Om, chanting some other Gayatri mantra, focusing the mind on that. So it is not just chanting. Your consciousness or your awareness should be totally focused on that. Even though if the thought comes, you should not say this thought should not come. That itself is a thought. So thoughts are like visitors. Let the visitor come, let the visitor go. If you put that kind of a perception, definitely in due courses, you can just develop the habit of getting away from this thought slowly. Okay, ma. It's a kind of a practice only. Next.
Usha, you can speak.
Yeah. Namaskara, sir.
Oh, namaskaram, ma.
I also had almost a similar one like the lady just asked. Like
Yeah.
I just keep, like love to work. Nanu Lambani jete kelsa marta idini. So, like I love to give work to others and do, but to get back the earning, no? So
Yeah.
that is not my priority.
So you have to put a priority. I want mukti. Mukti means not attaining mukti after the death. By living here itself, you have to experience the bliss and ecstasy. For that, if you ask that question, I want to get it realized, and we think that we are realized, no. We only the focus of the mind, and through words, action, and result, all the three has to join together and do. For that, once the deep imprint comes that I want to make money, ultimately you should ask this question: what? Till how much? How much I should earn? What Ambani is earning is all our resources only. We are giving to him. But how much he is enjoying? Only he needs 6 feet to lie down. When he stands, he needs only 2 feet. When you want to consume any food at a time, how much he can eat? Only so much. Is he bigger? Only he is having more money. But you have to go and ask how peaceful he is. So I meet all people like Ambani's here also. I have seen it's all reflection. So we need to understand, we need to become a divine conscious being. All are conscious being only because of the attachment we have. So we are just getting into this mode of becoming a victim. So you are on the right track. Ask, I want mukti or I want realization. Keep on going in that pursuit of this truth. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. This is the only ultimate goal of life should be there. People ask, I want to become a CEO. I want to become a prime minister. Nothing is going to give. That's all the way of exhibiting this one. The truth is only one. That truth, attaining this mukti. So you are on the right track only. So get it detached. As I told you, I show you, I told you carrying a pillow after the sleeping also is called attachment.
Right. Yeah, I'm into yoga and meditation, but still have to go deeper inside. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Wonderful question.
Thank you. Yeah. Namaskara. Thank you so much.
Usha Subramanian.
Samuel, sir, you can ask your question.
Sir, I would like to, like one of the methods or means of what you mentioned in your talk of reprogramming your subconscious mind is meditation. I am absolutely not into it. Will it be possible to have a session on this thing to get the basics of meditation?
Yes, definitely. I think you can talk to Badma. So we do meditation classes also. So you'll be able to. Yes, we have Skype. Where are you put up in Bangalore?
So I'm on the outer ring road, Horamau.
Oh, I think somebody phone is ringing. Can you put up the phone? You are put up in Koramangala. So we have closed all our Sky centers because of the epidemic corona. Probably in Jan or February we are going to open. So you can take my number from Badma. I'll be able to help you, sir.
Right, sir.
You need to get initiated. After getting initiated, you need to practice for yourself. Even I can initiate you here in my Yantra Foundation also. So you can contact Badma and take my number and consult me. I'll be able to help you, sir.
Right. I had actually come once a couple of months back to your center. I would like
okay.
to be helped in, sir.
Definitely, I'll be able to help you, sir. Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. But my next question.
Good evening, Dr. Bhagwati here.
Bhagwati, wonderful to see you back.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks for the wonderful session. Yes, sir.
You come back to Chennai?
No, not yet, sir.
Okay.
So in fact, when you started the session, the point was made clear that we as a human have only three parts within our control. Birth is not in our hand, death is not in our hand, but we have control
Yes.
over survival, enjoyment, and realization. And most of us actually focusing on the first two, survival and enjoyment, not on the realization. So this MRP actually why it is required if one has to focus on realizing his birth. And my understanding, probably actually before asking this question, this prelude may be required. Sorry for a bit longer. So in terms, yeah.
If
So
I
in
don't
terms,
know, I'll say I don't know.
Okay. So in terms of realization, what is against people not spending time on realization is they are not understanding the senses or they are not having a control over the senses. So the sense imprints come from either the prarabdha karma or the sanchita karma from the previous birth. So I tend to react. Say, for example, to some person, actually, I may be getting anger without any reason. I may not be knowing. Just at sight of him itself actually will create some kind of a irritation. And some people actually I'll get irritated only when they do things which I don't like. So the MRP for these two situations actually might be different. So from a biomagnetism point of view or from a meditation point of view, how do I apply MRP in these situations?
Definitely. You talked about anger.
Yeah.
Anger is nothing but absence of love.
Okay.
Anger is nothing but absence of love. When you love, no anger will be there. When anger is there, love will not be there. Both cannot coexist together. So
Okay.
for that only I am telling, when your frequency goes high, you have anger on somebody, or you see that person, you already have a discrimination, or you have a kind of a judgment on them. So start blessing those people.
Okay.
When you do meditation, whoever you have anger, whether it's on your mother name or father or friend or your boss or your subordinate, start blessing, because blessing is the most powerful tool which human has got it. But that blessing has to be done with a lower frequency.
Okay.
You cannot bless somebody from higher frequency, 40 cycle. When you get anger, can you bless anybody? No.
No, we cannot.
But when you are at ease, when your mind is calm, you start blessing, see the person will be calling you, or see that person will talk to you through somebody. All this can happen. So anger is nothing but absence of love.
Okay.
You got it? So in the
Yeah.
same way, each imprints in our Sky program, we have a program called Aruguna Siramaipu. How to change these 6 imprints in good quality through introspection and through meditation. So all these are possible. And you talked about the attaining realization. Actually, attaining realization is the most easiest thing can happen to human being. But how many people ask for it? We are only in the survival mode. So once we come out of the survival mode, for a man who is working in the field, without even going for a meditation, he can get realized. Like our Ramana Maharishi, got this from he was a very small boy. Like that, there are so many techniques and so many things that happens. So he is the person who never went anywhere in the world, sitting only in one place. He was able. So I think I request that person to switch off their phone. Switch off their phone. So realization can happen. Only ask for it. We ask for so many things. We ask for ecstasy, we ask for joy, we ask for celebration, we ask for so many things. But this control of sixth sense, don't try to control the sense. You need to know what is this sense. It is for survival, it is required. Once anything it goes in excess, suppose I am feeling hungry, you are giving me 4 idlis. I take the idli and it is very tasty. Because it's very tasty, I can ask one more idli, that's all. If I eat 10 idlis, what will happen? The goodness itself is become bad. So these 5 senses are the gateway to your divinity. First, for that, Swamiji has given Panja Indriya meditation. How to control your 5 senses. So not only control, to make limited use, limited method, how can I have this? So in that way, once you start introspecting yourself, you will not become a victim. You will become, life itself will have a paradigm shift, Bhagavati. So slowly, it's a slow process. For some people, a transformation happens without anything. Even some people get realized without a guru also. Very few people. But when you have a guru, the guru should be in such a position to transform you, not make you a disciple for life. You can think that you are a disciple for the guru, but a real guru, a real master can transform any kind of this one until he knows, like Vivekananda got introduced through Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, how the transformation takes place. So my dear friends, everybody are potentially divine. All are a beautiful, wonderful reflection of a mirror soul only. So only thing is you need to ask for it and do on the right path. Thank you. Thank you for asking this wonderful question, Bhagavati.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor.
So there's one more question. Anisha ma'am, I've unmuted you.
Yeah. Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Anisha.
Yeah. Sir, actually, I face a lot of people sometimes who feel that, everybody is ready to harm them. And sometimes children are also like that. So how to deal with such people, whether they are subordinates or children, because they are always scared, full of anxiety and fearful.
You can help them by blessing them. If that person start meditating and bringing down the frequency, or do some pranayam or yoga mudra or something like that, and they should bless that other people. Suppose you have a anger on your boss, you can bless the boss after the meditation. Blessing after the meditation carries a lot of weight. As long as the frequency is low, your broadcasting power will become more. As long as the frequency is high, it will not materialize. Only it will be in vain. You will be simply doing. So it's not word. When you bless, you have to start blessing from the heart. Heart to heart is commune. Mind to mind is communication. So we should not have communication. We need to have a commune.
Right.
Heart to heart. That's
So
why empty heart, a Buddha heart.
Why is this tendency? Like it's too much among many female subordinates and some children who are very fearful. So
that's why we can only have a control over ourselves. To have a control over the other, you need to train them. If you want to have a control over you, it is possible. If you want to try to control other, it is not possible. Only you can guide them and bless them.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We are almost reached 5:30.
Okay.
So it looks like we have covered most of the questions.
Okay.
So we thank everyone and we appreciate all of them for joining us on a Sunday. So can we end the session with your blessing for the world, sir?
Okay, but before that, Padma, next week there will be a session. That Christmas session, no, 26th and 27th, I'm not in station.
Yes, sir.
So the day you can announce before only. So that again, recharge people, it's become difficult. So.
What about the 20th December, sir? The following Sunday? The coming Sunday?
Coming Sunday, I am free.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, only the Christmas Sunday, I am not.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, may the whole world enjoy health, happiness, prosperity, peace, and wisdom. All the people who have participated I wish them to reprogram the subconscious mind slowly in whatever way possible. I'll be able to help them. So be blessed by the divine, be blessed by the divine, be blessed by the divine. Let peace prevail within you. Let peace prevail around you. Let the whole world enjoy peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, Padma.
Thank you, sir. So we'll end the session now.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Arun, sir, for making this possible.
Arun, you're not coming on the line.
Sir, actually, he's in a different call, sir. So
Okay. We'll leave the meeting. And next week it will be there. You announce only next week, and tell that 1 week break will be there.
Yes, sir. I'll keep them posted. Thank you, sir. Be blessed with everyone. Varga Valamudan, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you.